My name is Spencer Loveless, and I am the CEO of Merit 3D. And right here, we are in the building of Merit 3D, which is the future of manufacturing. Traditionally, plastic parts are made with molds. And every time that we made a mold, many times we would make it hoping that that product would take off, and it never would. And so then we have tens of thousands of dollars wasted in these molds. And so we said, how do we do things differently? And so we really had to reinvent the way that parts are produced and the method. So we turned to additive manufacturing, which is also known as 3D printing, as that solution to bypass traditional manufacturing. And it's been awesome so far. We use a technology here. It's a resin technology. It uses LCD screens to cure a layer a quarter of a millimeter at a time to a tenth of a millimeter at a time. It uses a resin, like if you're going to the dentist and they drill your tooth out and then they put that paste in your tooth and they hit it with the blue light and it cures it hard instantly. This is kind of the same technology as that. We have a lot of customers in so many different areas. We do a lot of outdoor products, phone cases, backpack clips. We do a lot in the automotive space right now. We're printing a lot of promotional items. We're printing pens for Zion's 150-year anniversary. Anything that you look around and you're like, is this made of plastic? We're starting to get into metals, but today is this made of plastic? If it's made of plastic and it's smaller than a grapefruit, we can print it amazingly. Having the ability to be creative is very, very key. A lot of our interns, they've came to us, they have something that we don't have as an older generation. Like they have this techiness to them. And so being able to really penetrate these minds of these young creative kids that have these programming skills that they're using as hobbies and being able to use that in the work industry, it's been awesome for us. It's been a huge game changer.
I come up with ideas, and doing design, I can turn those ideas into reality. And so I'm able to create what I see in my head and turn it into a real object. And that's always been fun for me. I really love watching it turn from just a concept into a real object. Everything from when the project gets brought in to when I'm designing it to when it gets printed, and when you get to hold it for the first time and see how it all works, that's a good experience.
I am very much a maker. I am one to get in and do things and figure it out. I don't love failing, but I love failing just to fail again and fail again to know that someday we're going to get it right. And that's what it takes. Like you're going to make, you're going to design, you're going to be creative, but know that you're going to fail. And the faster you can fail, the faster you can get up and you can do it right the next day.